Today is a bad day.
Contrary to my little smile from our experimental snippets, yeah, Gavin's pretty much right. It's a bad day. But welcome to the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show. Yeah, I'm probably going to lose my voice today. But until we get into the topics that are so frustrating, I'm going to bring in my co-host, Gavin Tony. Gavin, outside of yesterday, I hope you had a good weekend. Weather's been chilly. Very chilly, that is. Hopefully it warms up a little bit this week. It's, I guess, the first day of fall, right? That's today. Or maybe yesterday was the first day of fall. Summer's officially over in what has been the longest, shortest year as described by some people that I've talked to. And, man, does that make more sense than anything? Only we can understand 2020, the longest and shortest year, and we still got 2.5, 3 months to go. But, Gavin, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, feeling a little bit better today. Zach, I got a new mattress. I got a whole new bed. My back feels great. I'm feeling a little bit better. Still got a cough, cough. The Phillies are pissing me off and the Eagles are pissing me off. But Zach, I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm good. Again, I mean, it's fun to watch football. I'm trying to get better at removing my emotions from the game. The Stanley Cup started. It looks good so far. Lightning and the Dallas Stars are both in it as far as the NBA last night. An improbable win, I'd say, for the Lakers. They were in the lead the whole game. Fell behind just before the end of the game. Anthony Davis game-winning buzzer beater. We'll get to that today here on our half-hour edition of the show. Gavin, up 2-0. It's all right. It's all right. Denver's got to go down 3-1 until they start.
Yeah, but just to make the Sunday worse. Just to make guys, I had a horrible Sunday. And you're going to figure out why.
Without a doubt. But with that being said, we are going to get into it. And so I'm going to kind of take over the screen here and let you all understand our thoughts here because I have to say it. Again, last week I made it obvious I'm a Carson Wentz defender, but I would want to overemphasize last week blaming him. That's because I knew there were other things too. I mean, the O-line played terrible. The run game was non-existent. The receivers didn't do their job. But this week, the O-line, I think Pro Football Focus had them as the second best O-line this week. They did their job. Miles Sanders looked spectacular. Carson Wentz lost the Eagles this football game. All right, Carson Wentz did it by forcing the ball into places. Again, Carson Wentz has never had an interception issue, 7 interceptions in the last 3 seasons. Aaron Rodgers is the only other guy to have single-digit picks in all those years as well. But here's the thing. Carson Wentz, unlike other quarterbacks like Jameis Winston, bad reads or bad executed throws like Daniel Jones had, Carson Wentz is forcing the ball into areas that it doesn't need to be. He's trying to be Superman on a team where he only needs to do the basics. I will say something right now, and I'm probably going to hopefully regret it one day. But as of right now, Dak Prescott is the better quarterback and the best quarterback in the NFC East. And here's why. He's asked to step back and throw the ball and do the basics. He does it. Carson Wentz, congratulations, man. You can run around and throw a ball to Miles Sanders in the back of the end zone. Dak can't do that. But Dak can do something you can't. The basics. All you got to do is the basics. You're out here like throwing the ball around and forcing it in places. I'm bringing Gavin back in. He looks shocked as all heck, but I gotta make this obvious, and I hope I regret this. Okay,
a blasphemy that just came from your mouth.
I really do hope I regret this, but he can't do the basics. He's trying to force it in. He's trying to be MVP 2017 Carson. He wasn't Superman that year. He stepped back and threw it. He makes great throws. He's a smart guy, and he's out there doing this right now. That's not what you're being paid for. I mean, really? Last week, I can put it on the O-line. I can put it on the run game. We ran the ball more than 25 times yesterday. They've lost 2 games since last year, and yesterday was one of them. Not only do they get out-coached, but he had bad throws. The second pick I'm not going to count. The game was over. It was a terrible throw altogether. But that first one was horrible. You're down by, 5? It's 21-16, and you force it to a player who shouldn't even be on there. He shouldn't have even been drafted by this team in J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. I want to give him promise and hope. He looked pretty good in college. But DK Metcalf was on the board, and Terry McLaurin was on the board. I'm not even going to talk about Howie today. That's for another day. But the quarterback is the problem on this football team. No, I do not think taking him out should be the option. No, I do not think Jalen Hurts needs to come in. He's got the accountability. He comes out there and says, I got to be better. Well, duh. You got the worst passer rating in the NFL. I mean, come on, man. You're a great quarterback. You're so talented. You are smart. You put this team on your back last year. You now have the talent. Maybe Doug should give you some slants. I said this last week. Where are the slants? Where are the quick
Wasn't on this
routes?
week.
But Carson lost us that game yesterday. Maybe he didn't. Maybe it was something we don't see. But even Dan Orlovsky, who I look to and I see, I think in all honesty, Dan Orlovsky also said Carson Wentz is part of the problem. All right, and he is part of the problem. Or he said he's not the problem, he's problematic. I don't know what that means. Okay, even that's too much Carson Wentz defense for me. He does not need – I don't know what he's trying to do right now. All right, you don't need to force the ball in there on first down. Bad play calling is there. On 4th and 2, there wasn't a single receiver open. I'm not sure what it is, but Carson Wentz right now, there's a problem with Carson Wentz. Again, Baker Mayfield, Gavin, he's been here for what? This is his 3rd season. He ain't even talking about benching him. All right? And he's a lot worse than Carson Wentz. I have to say it. Jared Goff didn't look great last year. Nobody's talking about benching him. Jimmy G wasn't looking so great. He's hurt right now, unfortunately, but nobody talked about benching him. So why are we talking about – the only reason people are talking about benching him is because there was once an option called Nick Foles on this team. That's the only reason people are trying to talk about this. Mitch Trubisky, for God's sakes, was never benched. All right? And I'm just as mad at him as I am at Eagles fans that think he should be benched. No! He should power through and learn from his mistakes. You got 17 weeks to do it. I didn't even think they were going to be a playoff team this year. But the least of my concerns should be Carson Wentz. Deshaun Jackson's your only veteran receiver out there. The other guys are young. You have no preseason. First of all, I'll talk about this later, but whoever thinks there shouldn't be OTAs in preseason, you need to shut up right now because there's too many guys hurt. And you're dang right, I think it's because of the lack of having some contact in the preseason. Miles Sanders' fumble yesterday is because he didn't have any touches in the preseason and have any good contact with it. Again, he looked great yesterday. He really did. Eagles could have taken the lead and Carson Wentz threw an interception unnecessarily. That's why they lost yesterday. It's part of the reason. Carson Wentz is part of the reason. He's number one. O-line was good yesterday. Did not give up a single sack. So now you got to do it, Carson. Now the fire is under you. It's your job. This coaching staff will give you 14 more weeks. You have no reason to be scared of losing your job. Use that confidence and go out there and play.
You okay, Zach? You okay? No. You're not? Well, listen. You're right. Carson Wentz did some things yesterday that obviously pissed you off. But you know what really irritates me, Zach? It's the head coach. Why are we always blaming Carson Wentz for everything that goes wrong? Right? Let's go back to 4th and 2. Why are we throwing the ball 4th and 2? Are we the Seattle Seahawks? Are we not running the ball? Are we not going to act like Miles Sanders is not having a good day? He had one fumble, Zach. That's okay. One fumble. Everybody had that. Zeke had one yesterday. All right? Exactly. Are we going to really just sit here and not run the ball on 4th and 2? Where is this Carson Wentz where he used to be able to check in and out of plays? The Russell Wilson type, where Russell Wilson, when his headset didn't work, what did he do? He didn't call timeout. He called his own plays down the field, and he ultimately scored. I know it's against the Browns defense, Zach, but guess what? Carson Wentz used to be able to do the same thing, and he doesn't do that no more. All right? And you talked a lot about Carson Wentz, and I'm not going to get into Carson Wentz because obviously, ladies and gentlemen, my voice is not going to allow me to do all of that. What I will say is, and I've been saying this since last year, and a lot of people say this too, Jim Schwartz sucks. The defense is not here. Zach, 27 unanswered points in the Washington game, right? Not one answer point. You can say short field, but it doesn't matter. If your defense is there, you should stop it. It's Washington. You come out to a guy that I don't think that's a great quarterback, and Jared Goff, and you make him look like a star. Not trying to use his last name, Zach, but you make him look like a star.
7 incompletions, 3 touchdowns.
Exactly. And he wasn't doing nothing. You gave up 3 touchdowns to the same person. Tyler Higbee. Is he the best tight end in the league now? Is there no such thing as George Kittle? There's no such thing as Travis Kelce? By the way, where the hell was Zach Ertz?
No one. Where was Dallas Goedert yesterday? I think it is part of the coaching. Gavin, first throwing the ball. You got Miles Sanders, 4.8 yards per carry. By the way, actually, they did not run the ball more than 25 times. It was 24, so that does stand corrected. But they were at like 20 going into that final quarter. They obviously didn't run it because they were down by so much. I don't know what to say, Gavin. I think they're drawing up bad plays. I think Carson's having bad execution. Because, I mean, like, look, I think by this point in Carson's career, he should know better than to hold on to the ball. He didn't get sacked once yesterday. He evaded the pocket very well. Are no receivers able to get open? There are a few missed throws he had. I'd probably say I saw a couple. There was a few key drops, too. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside dropped the ball that would have kept the drive going on third down. The fourth down was pretty bad. There was literally no one open. There's a lot of the coaching here. Again, I'm going to say this. The coach has to go before the quarterback. I don't think we're there yet. But at some point, we're going to have a serious conversation about what to do. This team was supposed to do a severe overhaul in the offseason. What happened to that?
Well, Zach, I will say this. You said we're not there yet, but we're pretty damn close to it. Every year, we always blame Wentz. All right? Well, Wentz got hurt. Wentz did this. Wentz did that. I'm tired of blaming Wentz. Why is it every game Wentz loses, he has to answer to the criticism? And Doug Peterson's like, I don't know. He just did this. Where's his
quarterback, Nevin? That's what he has to do. We were celebrating him like he was Jesus the last 4 weeks of the season. Carson Wentz will compete, but he'll also get the glory. And that's proved the last year.
At some point, you got to think at the play call. You got to think about the guy that does this every game, calling the plays.
It's not even calling different plays. It's the actual play. Is he just like throwing darts at a dartboard, or are these actually like rub routes, pick routes, right? Like, you don't see that. You don't see any basic stuff. How often does Wentz get the ball out of his hands in less than 3 seconds? That's not on him. There are literally scripted plays that get the ball out of your hands quickly. It doesn't exist in our system. Our system is too complicated. Carson Wentz can't function in it. And when everything folds, he tries to do too much. So it's a mix here. Yeah, and Gavin, you're changing my opinion a little bit here. You're right. Why is Carson getting all the blame? Yes, again, it's 2 games right now. The first one I wouldn't even fully put on Carson. But yesterday I would. But that it's either 15-yard in routes to the tight ends in the middle of the field, or you're throwing the ball deep downfield. They didn't even do that yesterday at all, actually, surprisingly. But I don't understand why they don't have more basic routes. Something needs to happen. There's no easy routes. Why is Jalen Reagor running these intensive routes? Shouldn't he just be doing slants right now? Keep it simple.
There's no creativity in this scheme. That's right. There's no creativity. And Zach, guess what? You know what pisses me off the more? It pisses me off the most. The fact that there's an offensive coordinator in Dallas named Kellen Moore who got created for Dak Prescott. And he said, Dak, you know what? We need to go down and win this game. So guess what? We're going to do this route where we're going to go in, where CeeDee Lamb's going to go do an out route, and you hit him, and he's going to run up the field. And guess what? We're going to throw a little pass, a little out pass where you got to free up Michael Gallup. Oh my gosh, and they did crossing routes too. I was watching the Ravens and they were doing a whole bunch of drag routes and slants routes, and Lamar Jackson looked like a genius, and same thing with Justin. Justin Herbert looked fantastic, better than Carson Wentz. And I don't like Justin Herbert, but damn, he looked good yesterday. Zach, there's no creativity. I said this once to you, Zach, off the show before we had the show, and I'm gonna say it on here. The day Frank Wright left is the day the creativity died for this offense.
I also think that they don't have a receiver that is reliable outside of Zach Ertz, which they didn't use yesterday. I don't know why. But honestly, Gavin, another thing too here, I'm going to ask you this final question here before we get to our next topic, about halfway done the show. According to rumors that surfaced, the Eagles could have traded for the Atlanta Falcons pick in the first round, which was above the Cowboys, and they would have taken CeeDee Lamb. I believe it was their first round and their second round pick. The Eagles said we'd rather have Jalen Hurts than have CeeDee Lamb over Jalen Reagor. What do you think of that now? I didn't ask you this question before. Before the season started, I asked this exact same question, and I'm asking it again today. What does that make you think about this team?
This is going to pain me to say this. Jerry Jones looks like a genius right now for getting CeeDee Lamb. And
he's doing well. He got 100 yards yesterday. He does the basics.
Exactly.
We don't have a route running guy like that right now.
And we look like idiots taking Jalen Reagor and Jalen Hurts. Not saying I think Jalen Hurts is going to be the future here, but we look like idiots. Meanwhile, CeeDee Lamb has produced the first 2 games. He didn't get in the end zone, but Zach, he had 100 yards yesterday, and he had 50-some yards in the first game. He did good. He has 150 on 150 plus on the year. Right now, he has more than Jalen Hurts. So right now, we look like idiots, and they look like geniuses, and I hate it.
You haven't even used Jalen Hurts in one play yesterday. You used him as your second-round pick, and he was inactive week 1. There are serious coaching flaws on this team, and I think that then bleeds out into the quarterback play.
when are we going to Zach? I know you don't want to hear this, but what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Seriously, I don't think it's not enough for Jalen. If we lose, if Carson Wentz has a bad play versus Joe Burrow, I want Jalen Hurts. I'm just going to
Too
say
early. Way too
Joe
early.
Burrow. If we no, I'm serious. If we lose to Joe Burrow, we might as well just put Jalen Hurts in.
Depends how you lose. We'll have to see. Coming up after this, we're going to be talking about the injuries in the NFL. Did they mess up with this season and let the players dictate too much about the preseason? All that and more after this. We are now offering a new product on our Teespring. Wear a mask in public. We are now supporting a custom designed mask with our logo on it. Purchase it today, and 10% goes to a foundation of our viewers' choice. It offers a full nose and mouth coverage, single-sided print, includes two 2-inch elastic ear loops, non-medical grade product, and finally, $1 from every mask sale is donated to a nonprofit to feed children in need. Enjoy today's episode. Welcome back. We have an abundance of injuries that have happened around the league. Surprisingly, mostly not the Eagles, although Isaac Seumalo will be out for at least 3 weeks. Matt Pryor expected to fill in at the left guard. That officially means that the left side of the line is 100% on backups. So Kelsey and Lane Johnson is the only two that are healthy right now, as if this is any better for your quarterback that for some reason needs perfect protection. But we'll continue talking about that tomorrow as more stories come out, more analysis comes out on the Eagles, and we'll see what happens from there. Saquon Barkley is out with a torn ACL for the year. Joey Bosa, or Nick Bosa, most they fear has a torn ACL. Drew Lock is out for a few weeks with a AC joint injury. Raheem Mostert, minor MCL sprain. A lot of these are soft tissue, Gavin, which a lot of this stuff gets knocked out and figured out in the preseason. Obviously, you don't tear your ACL in the preseason and magically recover. But I do have to ask you this, Gavin. Do you think that the lack of OTAs in preseason has anything to do with this abundance of injuries here in only week 2 of the NFL season?
Well, excuse me, Zach. Well, it shows that you're going to need strength. These guys, strength and conditioning, you couldn't do that. You, excuse me, you only had a little bit of time to fit that in, and you didn't really do it that much. Zach, these injuries, and Christian McCaffrey is another guy that's going to be missing a few times. Like this conversation says, agree. Like you should have had OTAs. There's no you could go without, having a friend, speaking to him about training camp. He says, training camp it's a lot. Think about it. You already put your body through a lot in training camp, right? Just to come out and now you gotta play a season. OTAs is kind of takes the pressure off it, where you get the strength, you get to train, you get to get your weight in. You didn't have that, and then you force yourself into a long training camp with no games. And then you come out to a season, and now injuries are happening. I expect to see more injuries like this to happen. I don't want to say that. I don't like people getting hurt. Zach, you don't like people getting hurt either, but it's just going to happen. And by the way, Zach, if I may add to Zach Pascal, or excuse me, I think that's what his name is, or Paris Pascal, the wide receiver, the coach, he's also out as well.
Yeah, no, injuries upon injuries upon injuries. George Kittle injury. He's expected to be back this week, though. Concussions as well, which are going to happen anyway. But if you don't get a few snaps in the preseason, you don't learn how to fall. Remember DeMarco Murray was on. He was telling us how he fell correctly to prevent injuries early in his career. That's some things that these guys learn or retrain themselves in the preseason on limited snaps before the pressure is on you. And Miles Sanders on 94.1 WIP today saying that it's like the preseason right now, but it's not, because it matters. The record counts. Ooh. If Carson Wentz played like this in the preseason, no one's worried. And then after week 4, all of a sudden he could get an MVP. We don't know. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But Gavin, around the NFL, I'm going to read off some scores here. We'll point out any specific ones if there are any shockers in there. One that comes to mind, obviously, and as an Eagles fan against our opponents, it's definitely not a good one to see. Gavin, the 28-3 joke has been around for a few years, and man, did the Falcons outdo themselves yesterday. What are your thoughts on that game?
You can't trust Atlanta to do a damn thing no more. Atlanta, Dan Quinn needs to be fired immediately, right now. All right, Matt Ryan, excuse me again. Matt Ryan's okay. Here's why. He did his job. He 3 touchdown passes to Calvin Ridley. You got one. Julio Jones should have had one. Fancy from my end, but defense over. What was that on Zach? Zach, and for those who may or may not know, even if the ball on onside kick The kicking team can't touch until 10 yards, but the receiving team can touch it at any point. Doesn't mean 10 yards applies to you. You can touch it whenever. Get the ball. Ultimately, sets up for a Cowboys win. You can't trust Atlanta to do anything anymore.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And so Dallas, improbable victory yesterday. We're getting around the NFL, reading off Bengals and Browns. We know that 35-30 Browns. Giants and Bears 17-13. Mr. Trubisky looked good early, fell off, but they were able to secure the win. The Rams beating the Philadelphia Eagles 37-19. No surprise there again. Cowboys Falcons 40-39. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers finally get their first victory over the Panthers by a score of 31-17. A banged-up 49ers team defeating Adam Gase and the New York Jets 31-13. The Broncos, a good game. Jeff Driscoll coming in as the backup, losing 21-26 over the Steelers. The Tennessee Titans squeaking away with a victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars by a score of 33-30. The Lions and the Packers 42-21. No, Gavin, it is not time to apologize to Aaron Rodgers, but I am getting there. The Packers are looking very good to start out this year. The Bills and Dolphins 31-28.
I mean, that fantasy score of yours.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see throughout the next few weeks how all the teams fare though. But the Vikings getting stunned in Indianapolis 28-11. Cardinals winning 30-15 over the Washington football team. Ravens over the Texans 33-16. Their path to 16-0 is still possible. The Chiefs and Chargers in overtime. The Chiefs winning 23-20. And the Seahawks beating the Patriots 35-30. Gavin, tonight is the Las Vegas Raiders and the New Orleans Saints. Who are you taking in this Monday night preview?
I got the Raiders tonight. No Michael Thomas. It means you can focus in on Alvin Kamara. Yes, they got a great pass game and Jared Cook is still there and you got Emmanuel Sanders, but I think you're going to focus on the run, and those guys aren't going to be enough to get open. I'm taking the Raiders 28-21. Drew Brees throws 2 interceptions.
I'm taking the Saints by a score of 30-20, and I think that Josh Jacobs does break the 100-yard mark the first time in over 2 seasons against the Saints defense. I also have in fantasy, so that's one of the reasons as well. We will be recapping the fantasy for our league this week tomorrow once all the games are official and point corrections are done. Coming up after this, we're going to be breaking down the NBA, the Los Angeles Lakers. The Boston Celtics also getting their first win. They are down 2-1 in the series still. And then we'll finish the day off with the Philadelphia Phillies as they go into their final week of the season before the possible playoffs. So stay tuned. Would you like to know how you can support the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show? If so, head down to the comments on our YouTube channel. You will see 2 links there. The first is our Teespring, where you can see a wide variety of apparel products, including our signature product, the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show sweatshirts, offered in a variety of different colors, including gray, navy blue, and more. Finally, we have our Patreon page, where you can become a monthly donation member. 10% of all donations go towards an organization of our viewers' choice. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode, and if you can't donate, that's okay, because you can always share this. Lakers are up 2-0 over the Denver Nuggets. Not much surprise there. The Nuggets are known to go down the series. They almost came back last night and won. But Anthony Davis, buzzer beater, able to seal the deal for the Los Angeles Lakers. Gavin, I know that you've been not so high on the Lakers. I imagine that will continue. But you do have them winning this series, though. So I got to ask you this question. How do you feel about the Denver Nuggets right now, and can they bounce back?
First of all, Zach, I want to say this. To all the LeBron fans, shut up! Shut up! All right, and win the game tonight. Zach, his plus minus was horrible. He was -9 last night. He had 6 turnovers. LeBron fans, shut up! Shut up! Please. Anthony Davis did it for you guys. He's done it for the first 2 games. He did it last series for you guys too. So LeBron fans, shut up. Shut up. AD got the whole series, exactly. As far as the Nuggets, last night they beat themselves. And what I mean by they, I mean Mason Plumlee. Zach, he subs into the game. He's man-to-man against Anthony Davis and arguing when plays right at LeBron James. When you got to foul AD. I think if you stay on AD, arguably block his shot and it's a 1-1 series. But Zach, excuse me, I think that the Nuggets could get a game still. I still believe they will. I still think the Lakers are going to win because they ruined the playoffs. The Clippers losing ruined my initial pick. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Nuggets come back. They keep shooting themselves in the foot. Last game 1, they got destroyed. Game 2, I think game 3 bounced back.
Without a doubt, we'll have to see what happens here in the series. And then Gavin, finally here before we get to the Phillies in the final 5 minutes, the Boston Celtics down 2-1 right now. Is this still the Miami Heat series? Or do you think the Celtics have a chance to come back for real?
There's a lot of emotions on the Boston Celtics side. I do believe Boston's going to get another game. They're going to take this to 6 or 7, but I still got Miami Heat. Miami Heat's playing great basketball, even if they lost last game. But I got Miami going all the way to the finals. It's a great basketball team, really great defense, really well coached too. And Bam Adebayo is proving to be a real problem for them.
No doubt. I mean, this is only their second playoff loss, and they've bounced back from both already. So we will see what happens. Again, and now we are talking about the Philadelphia Phillies. Bryce Harper had an injury yesterday. He is in the lineup today, so hopefully any concerns for that can go to rest. The Phillies currently sit at 27-26. They are one game back of the Miami Marlins, which would arguably give them a playoff spot, definitely. Although right now where they sit, it is possible to get in, but they would want to secure that spot. Gavin, Nationals, Rays. How many games do they have to win in order to make this playoff? Again, I'm going to repeat that. That's 4 games against the Nationals, 3 against the Rays. Me personally, I'm saying you got to take 6. You got to take 6. You want to go to the playoffs. You want to be different than you've been every year. You have to stop falling off a cliff in September.
I don't know. See, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I had a horrible Sunday. Eagles lose, right? And just across the street, Zach, Bryce Harper's out there playing baseball. He hurts his back. The Phillies lose too. Then you got Anthony Davis' game winner. LeBron fans need to shut up because he didn't do anything. Excuse me. Zach, do I even want to watch the Phillies go to the playoffs? If this bullpen is going to be playing, I don't want to see it. Okay, you lose to the Buffalo Blue Jays. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, not Toronto, Buffalo. You guys Washington, we know you need to win, but you don't have Spencer Howard right now. You don't have arguably maybe not even Bryce Harper. You need to win all these games because you're going to go against a team in Tampa that's been great all year long, or excuse me, all 60 games, where you're not going to win any one of those games because of the pitching. Unless miraculously, by the grace of the baseball gods, you guys become legends and go on a streak and win. That's sure as hell not happening. Zach, they need to win all these games in Washington or wherever it is versus the Nationals, and then we'll go from there. But I don't see this happening. This season's over.
Yeah, we'll see. It's been a step in the right direction offensively, but we'll have to see again tonight. They're playing the Washington Nationals. Hopefully this Philly team can beat Washington. But on that note, everyone, thank you much for joining us today on the show. And tomorrow we're hoping to go possibly an hour. We'll figure that out. Maybe a half hour again. Then Wednesday, hopefully we should aim for an hour show so we can sit down and continue to break down the Eagles game plan, continue talking about Philly sports here and all other sports, as most leagues except for the NFL are starting to close up and prepare for the postseason or their finals respectively. With that being said, everyone, thank you so much for joining us here today, and have a good afternoon, good night, and we'll see you tomorrow. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. In addition, hit that bell icon and set it to all to get reminded of when we go live and when we post excerpts of our videos. Again, thanks